7:02 NFL free agent matchmaker. Where are the biggest names going to play next year? Will the Lions get any of them? We'll get to that top of the hour. Michigan Hoops with the win last night against Purdue. The question that set the afternoon show ablaze, a yelling and screaming match this week.
I'm curious as to what this question is.
Is it national title or bust for Michigan?
Is that the question?
Mm-hmm. Oh. You would think it's an easy answer. Yes, the only satisfying conclusion to this season is for Michigan to be the last team standing, cutting down the nets.
So, okay, I need some clarification then.
Yeah.
What were they screaming about? Who was on what side?
Rieger was in with Rico. And Rico said, hey, you're the number one team in the country. This is before they played Purdue. And said, yeah, man, the only way that you can be that iconic team, the only way the season is a success is if you guys win the national title. To which Rieger said, that's a Spartan talking point. You're moving the goalposts and setting this team up so if they don't, then you can rip them. And it turned into a Michigan State squabble fest. Well, you guys celebrate Final Fours. Why can't that be Michigan's destination? Well, if you guys are going to make fun of us for celebrating Final Fours, then you have to win the national title. And it turned into rivalry bickering. We can do that. I'm not particularly interested in that. I just want to ask the question for Michigan basketball, as they sit today, beating everybody by double digits, 6 straight wins by double digits. They do it at the Breslin. They do it at Mackey. They did it last night in epic fashion. It's only a national title that makes this season a success. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. We'll move on. 2-4.
I don't understand. That's not a Spartan take. That's a competitive basketball. And so what makes it even more important is you've gone out and you've put all your resources into the transfer portal. You've spent money on this roster. Mm-hmm. This roster is producing. You've spent money on your coach. He was signed for signed for a year or longer than that, but then you redo his contract. Like, you've invested money in this program, and now you're seeing the fruits of that money and the labor that they're putting in, and you've taken on Auburn, a ranked team at the time. You beat them by 30. Gonzaga, ranked team. You beat them by 40. USC at the time was ranked. You beat them by 30. Michigan State by 12 in their place. You beat Nebraska at home. Now, that was a little bit of a barn burner. I think it was, 2 or 3?
Yeah.
And then Purdue, a top 10 team, and you go to their place and you win by 11. You are in position for the number 1 overall seed. Yes, the only acceptable finish is that you set the bar as high as it can go.
Michigan has played for a few national titles. Remember the Beeline era where they played Louisville and they played Villanova? They played 4 national titles. They made Final Fours. The next step is to win it all. And people don't like how much of a business college athletics have become. But, John, you're right. ROI. What's the return on investment? If Michigan's going to hit the portal as aggressively as they did, if they're, quote, the best team money can buy, which I think is a line from jealous fan bases, but fine, then the ROI has to be, the return on investment is they win the national title or the season's a failure. And I think they can embrace it. They're the number 1 team. They went on the road last night, and they conducted themselves like a team that expected to win. John, their defense is non-negotiable. They're the best defense in the sport. They've got a front court with size. They can switch. They clean the glass. Then on the offensive end, yeah, they're collecting offensive rebounds. That shows up every night. That's going to give them a chance every night. Then you start burying threes in the second half, and you start burying teams. They're the best team in college basketball. They only have the 1 loss. They might not lose again. Like, they are in a position where they could lock up the Big Ten before the month of March even begins. A good Big Ten, we could add. They would be clear-cut the number 1 team in the country. They beat Duke this weekend. You could pencil them in for a number 1 seed before we even get to the month of March.
Yeah, and I just don't understand anybody that would say at this point that it's really hard to make a Final Four. I get that. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to win a national title. I understand that. But that's the expectation. We talk about it all the time. We reset the expectation for the Tigers last year, and then we had to reset that expectation for the Tigers. We're resetting it right now for the Pistons throughout the course of this year, the year 2 of JB and everything that's going on. That's what you do.
You know what it is, John? You earned this conversation.
Yes.
Michigan has earned this. We were having this conversation a little bit in November when they were blowing people out like Gonzaga by 40.
Yeah, but it was way too early.
But that was the thing. It's too early, and we'll see in conference play. And guys, don't you know, it's the Big Ten's so tough. And once they get into conference play and they have to go to Mackey and they have to go to Breslin and they have to go to the Assembly Hall maybe, or they have to go to... Guys, we're here. They're doing it. They're beating people, and they're doing it convincingly. So they've earned the standard of championship or bust. This isn't something that the media is forcing on them to put pressure on them. They put the pressure on themselves, and they still show up every single time.
So I think what fans are doing when they don't want to say championship or bust is that they're safeguarding their emotions, which is fine, because what they're not going to do and what I'm not going to do is spend a month and a half saying, well, you better win it, 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 well, you better win it. Nice when it gets Duke, well, you better win it. We're not doing that.
No.
And I don't want to do that.
No, I think we celebrate the successes along the way with the goal, the spotlight on the trophy.
Yes, and maybe if they do fall short, maybe we'll look back on this. Maybe we'll think fondly of this season. If they don't, that's for the future to look back through the lens of time of history. However, and I've said it this way, to rephrase it this way, I will not take any bargain of going so far in the tournament and capping their season before letting it play out, and let's see how the season rides.
We did this game with Stoney one day when you were out, and Greg kind of impromptu. It was kind of the mountain climber game we do, and he said, would you lock in the Final Four, but that's where your season ends, or would you let it play out? Well, you have to let it play out for Michigan.
Yeah.
So would you take a spot in the title game, or would you let it play out? Well, I'd let it play out. This team is the best team in college basketball. I'm taking, to Greg's point, no bargains. The only satisfying conclusion is not a cash out in the Final Four. It's a national title. 248-539-9797. Let's get some phone calls in here. E in Detroit, good morning. You're on 97.1.
Good morning. Good morning. First and foremost, go blue.
Go blue.
Now, here we go. Let me be honest with you all. The culture is being set. The foundation is being set. It's not championship or bust. A championship will be perfect for us right now. But I'm telling you what Dusty May is doing, he's showing the country and all the guys that's going to enter the transfer portal that I trust you. Even when Yaxel got into the little situation back in March, Dusty May came out and said that was months ago. I trust him. Now, the style of play that Michigan's playing right now is going to make a lot of players want to transfer over here. We're going to be number one for years now. So my thing is, I want us to win that championship this year, but if we get to the Final Four, I will be satisfied. But next year, downtown at Ford Field, we have to win that natty. I hate that I love that we're doing it this year. I love that we're doing a great job this year.
The only problem with that philosophy, and I agree to a point that you are laying a foundation. This is year 2 for Dusty May, but you reset that foundation every single year in college basketball.
That's what I was going to say, is this year might be your best chance. Not that you couldn't do it in future years, but it's a re-roll and a reset every year, and you are that team this year.
Now, let me ask you a question, John.
Yep.
Because you play for Michigan. I'm glad of that. Go blue.
Go blue.
But if you was entering the transfer portal, if you was a young kid right now thinking about entering the transfer portal, you're weighing your options. The first thing you're going to say is, oh, Yax came from here. The one guy came from Illinois. Look what they're doing over here now. The guy came from North Carolina. North Carolina is a high-profile team. Mm-hmm. Look what he's doing over here in Michigan right now. May made them 3 guys. May has made better. If not a first round, they will be a second-round draft pick. May has made them guys better. If I'm entering the transfer portal, I want to go to Michigan. I want to wear that block M, not because of the past. Yeah, the past, the history is the history. But I want to go for what you've done lately. And what Dusty May has done in 2 years, winning 51 games, out of 62 games. Come on now. Go blue. The foundation is here. I want them to win this year, but it won't be a bust if they don't. But I hope they do. My bet is they will. Go blue.
Go blue. Thanks, E.
What if he was a Michigan fan?
Yeah. But so I do agree that you have to establish that you're a winning coach.
Yeah.
All right. And Dusty May has now done that in 2 spots. he is established as a winning coach. And certainly there are players that are looking at Michigan going, hey, if I enter the portal, maybe I do want to go play for Dusty May. Maybe I do want to go to Ann Arbor. But there's also going to be teams like Houston, like Duke, like Arizona, like UConn, that will be very attractive to those players as well. So it's a check in the positive column that you're winning.
Well, it's two things.
But you also have to continue to be able to call up the donors and say, we need more money.
I was just going to say, you got to have both going. You have to have the money to get in the door, and then you got to be able to sell yourself. And Dusty can sell himself looking at what they've done so far this season and what he's done in his career. Yeah, he's made Michigan a destination.
Yeah, are they saying the same thing in Lincoln now? You know, we've got to go to Lincoln, Nebraska because Nebraska's winning.
But to the point, you rebuild your team every year. And when you re-roll, you might have a good team next year. You might have a very good team. This could be a great, iconic team, but you got to win the national title. It's 97-1.